Hey everybody, mind the gap. You'll find that on a sign in the London subway which warns the passengers about the gap between the platform and the actual train. It's become pop culture. You'll see mind the gap on t-shirts and stickers. My mind the gap is the leadership gap, and that's my warning to organizations that don't invest properly in leadership. It's a pretty simple theory. You've got growth on this side and time down here on the bottom. This first line here is the organizational growth line, and that can go up pretty rapidly in a startup organization with a handful of people. A great idea gets funding. Next thing you know, it's got a couple hundred people. Grows pretty quick, or over time slower in an organization that's more established, but experiences some change, new products, new people, new management. The bottom line here is a leadership line, and that represents the leadership growth, which typically goes much slower or not at all because there's no investment in leadership like there might be in marketing or finance or product development. Organizations aren't investing in leaders properly, and therefore they don't lead as effectively as they need to. People are going to take your organization on that growth line, but if you don't lead them properly, they won't. So it creates this gap between the two lines, and that's represented by several things. Lack of managers and leaders' ability to lead effectively and connect with their people in personal ways. Lack of or non-existent policies in an organization, leave and pay, different things that govern the environment in an organization. Really neat, innovative, flexible work environments that people want to come and be a part of every day. Or things like counseling and developing and mentoring so that employees walk around every day knowing exactly where they stand and how they're performing. So it forms that gap. Now I'm going to draw another line on here, and that could be the point of no return where catastrophic failure occurs in an organization because these lines become so wide apart. That's where the organization fails. Employee turnover becomes unmanageable. Glassdoor.com ratings become very poor. Lots of different things that create failure in an organization. I want to help close that for you. That leadership line ought to be above the organization line, but let's work together to close that line. I've got 27 years experience leadership in the Army. I'm a Wikipedia of methodologies and tips and practices for organizations to be able to close that gap. Visit my website, robcampbellleadership.com, or email me at rob@robcampbellleadership.com, and let's work on this together. Or you can pick up a copy of my book. It's Personal, Not Personnel, Leadership Lessons for the Battlefield and the Boardroom. Mind the gap. Thanks for visiting.